Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Arnaldo and this is Articulture. Today I will be talking to you about why your houseplant soil should dry out between watering. So it's really important not to let your plants sit in wet soil for long periods of time because we know that it can damage the root system and it could start rotting the roots. So everyone always says, let your plants dry out between watering. And of course, the most important thing in doing that is balance. We really have to have a balance of how wet the soil, how much water the soil should get, how much water the plant should get, and how dry we should let it get between waterings. That's the important thing. So all plants have different needs and for watering. So they require different amounts of water. Some plants obviously need a lot less water because they retain water in the plant, like this Euphorbia, for instance, and this Sansevieria. These are plants like the Hoya as well. They are more succulent plants and they retain the water in the plant, so they require a lot less watering. So you know, plants love water, they need water. This is so necessary for your plant to receive water so that it can photosynthesize the sugars and starches that it creates, and also with the water, this is how it transports the nutrients into the plant, into the whole plant. It's because of the water. So water is also the way your plant controls its temperature. So if your plant is in a sunny spot or it's too hot, this is how it can cool itself, and that's with using the water. So I guess the biggest and hardest question to ask is, how much water does a plant need and how often does it need the water? And this really depends on so many things, so many variables, so many things depending on the conditions your plant is living in. So and what your plant's needs are, like I was saying, depending on the plant. So there are so many different things. The first thing would be what type of plant it is and its requirements, what kind of soil the plant is in, whether or not it retains a lot of water, or if it's well draining soil. So also the size of the pot that it's in, because if it's in a larger pot, it may hold more water, and if it's a smaller pot, it may dry faster. And also depending on the location you have your plant in your house, or if you have it outside. If it's receiving sun, if the sun is drying the soil, if it's not, if it's in a shady spot and it's retaining more of its water. So those are the things that you need to watch always. Some plants are more thirsty than others and they drink more water, and this is something that you discover with having your plants. And also very important is to do a little research and understand your plant, understand what your plant's needs are, and you'll start learning to figure out, oh, that's my thirsty plant and this is my plant that's not. And you'll learn to figure that out. So also the time of year, what time of year is it? Is it its growing season? Is it going to need more water? Because I have found that obviously in spring and summer, I live in Florida, so of course for us here it's kind of always growing season. We don't really have a dormancy, but if you live in other parts of the world, in the north, then you will see that your plants really only require more watering during spring and summer, and then they have a dormancy period, which could be fall and winter, and they need less water at that time as well. So that's also really important. So guys, also one very important point is that understand your plant and the dormancy period that it may have, because some plants actually are dormant in summer. So yeah, do a little research and understand your plant, because that'll be the best way to have optimum growth for your plant. So important key is balance. So what you need is to have a balance between water and oxygen to the roots of your plant. When the water evaporates from the soil, from the substrate, then the air brings oxygen to the roots. So the key is balance. To dry the roots out some, but not too dry, because remember that if they become too dry, not like bone dry, because if they become bone dry, they could actually hurt the roots. They could actually stop working for your plant. So they could dry out to the point where they no longer are going to be working right, and they no longer will be able to absorb water into the plant. So yeah, the key is that balance, is finding the balance between air, oxygen, and water to the roots of your plant. So okay guys, so I have some plants here, some example of my plants to show you. So most of my plants are succulents or some form of succulents. So actually I have a lot of great examples of plants that do not require a lot of watering, as opposed to plants that do require a lot of watering. And that is my choice, because I've chosen plants that make it a little easier for me, and I actually really love them. So I'm able to have a lot of them, and the care is easier. It's easier for me. So I sort of segued today's video from my how not to kill a houseplant video. And if you haven't seen that one, there are a lot of great tips there, and you should definitely see that. But I segued from that video to this one because I figured it was so important to explain the watering for your plants and how much and how not to overwater your plant. So because I purchased this Euphorbia at a big box store, and it actually came drenched in water, and it didn't have any drainage holes on the bottom, and it had been sitting in water for a really long time. And I was worried because I have been growing a really large Euphorbia outside for years, and it has grown really tall and really beautiful, and it's super healthy. And like I said, I've had it for years, and I rarely water that plant. It's pretty much zero-scaped, so it kind of may get some rain, and I rarely water it, and it's super happy and super healthy. So that's why I was so concerned when I purchased this Euphorbia that it came in all this water, and the substrate being coco coir, which in my opinion, perhaps other people can grow succulents in it and do really, really well. But in my opinion, it retains too much moisture, and it's not gonna be something that I wanna leave this plant in. So I will definitely be repotting it in a well-draining soil, and I definitely want more aeration for the roots, because I feel it's gonna do much better and maximize its health and growth potential. So yeah, so Euphorbias don't need to be watered very often. That's, again, from my experience, from the location that I have my plants. So yeah, this one's actually going to be in a sunnier spot, so I will definitely keep an eye on it. I think it's gonna definitely need more water to keep it, you know, really supple and really healthy. More water than the other one, because I have that one under a roof. So because this one's gonna be getting more sun. So yeah, it'll definitely be requiring some more water. And again, that's the perfect example of where you have your plant and what the needs will be for that plant, having to do with the location that you have your plant. So then here we have Sansevieria dracaenas. They are such an easy to care for plant because they don't require a lot of watering, because again, they also do retain water in the plant. But they just do great. You know, they're really easy. They can do well in low light, high light. But again, yeah, they are a super easy plant to take care of. They don't require that much water, but you know, do appreciate water. So I'll give you examples. So like this one, you know, I do kind of keep her on the same schedule as other plants, once a week, maybe a little bit of water, and yeah, she does great. Then we have the aloes. Aloes actually, you could probably water once a month and they will do perfectly well. And then that's the difference, like once a week, once a month. And then this little guy right here is a lithops. I'll come up closer so you can see it. The lithops, on the other hand, is a plant that can go without water, and that's because that's how it's used to. That's how it's used to growing, and where comes from, it could go for months without watering. And actually, if you watered it, you can kill it. So when that plant is doing what it does is where it splits itself and then the new growth is coming in, it will absorb the water from the side, from this part of the plant. It will absorb the water from there, so you don't even have to water it. And it's like a really cool process. Then eventually that will dry out, and then this is the new plant that has come from it. I only have one little one, but I really do love them, and they're so easy and fun to grow that I definitely want to try to acquire some more of those because they're great. So yeah, aloe is awesome, super easy, once a month. Then you have your Hoyas that can go, a week to 10 days without water. And again, also depending on where the location you have them. And then I have here a little ficus. And then this is to show you an example of a plant that actually does love to be watered. It does not like to sit in dry soil. So I'm always having to check it. And you see that, for instance, this one here is growing in coco coir. And this is a plant that loves water. So to me, that kind of says that this holds moisture well, and that's what the plant requires. And that's why I kind of feel that it's not the right substrate for this plant. So, that's what you really have to do is like understand what your plant really would prefer to have your best growth potential. So sorry, my camera sometimes has a mind of its own and it shut off on me. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys. I'm really excited. I created a new planter for my Euphorbia and this really cool concrete planter. I love using concrete, obviously for the aesthetics and the modern kind of look that it has. And I love that I can make my own planters. I also love using it because, like I said, most of my plants are succulents. And what it does is the concrete actually kind of pulls the moisture from the soil, and it helps so that the plant doesn't sit in wet soil for too long. So yeah, I have my new planter. I'm excited. I finally get to transfer the Euphorbia into its own new planter. And actually I've been keeping it out of the rain so that it hasn't been too moist. So yeah, I should be doing that today, and that's going to be fun. So, I hope that now you understand more about the balance between water and oxygen for keeping the roots and your plants healthy. Thank you for joining me today, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next episode.